Hello students, in this class we will discuss about a concept called as class in C++. Before we actually go for what class is, we should know what structure is. Now all of you have studied structure in C programming, so we know that in structure we can club together data of dissimilar type. For example, in a structure called a student, I can have roll number, I can have his division, I can have name. So roll number is integer, division is character, and name is array of characters. So thing is that in the structure we can have different data of dissimilar type, right? Now when we talk of structure in C supports only data abstraction. It does not support something called as procedure or function abstraction. Along with that, in a structure we can have something called as function pointer in C. Now the concept of structure is taken in C++ as well. Now in C++, along with data abstraction, structure consists of procedure or we can say function abstraction also. That means along with data members, a structure can have functions also a part of structure, right? Now by default all the members of structure are public in C++, right? Now this is the background required for understanding class. So when we talk of class, the keyword struct is replaced by keyword class. Now basically class is a template for creation of like objects, and it is an object is an instance of a class. Now basically when we declare a class, we are mapping two basically we are mapping real world entities into classes through data members and member function. So when we declare our own class, so we can say class is a user defined data type. Now is it the only user defined data type in C++? No. Along with class there is a user defined data type called as struct. We have enum, we have union also, right? So these are all user defined data types in C++. So when we write a class and create object of that class, so we are achieving two major pillars of object oriented programming, that is abstraction and encapsulation. Now when we provide a class, it consists of both state and behavior. So the structure and behavior of similar objects are defined in their common class. So one major difference between class and structure is by default all the members of structure are public, whereas all the members of class are by default private. So not only data, even methods are also by default private. Now we can change them into public by using some access specifier. This is a typical syntax of a class. So if you look, so we have class keyword, after that we have class name. So class name can be any name. Then in the class we can have public section and private section. Later on we will see there is something called protected also, right? So in public section we can have both data members and functions. Similarly in private section also we can have both data members and function. But usually what we do, we declare data members or we provide data members in a private section and we provide function in a public section. Now when we provide function, it should have some predefined syntax, like it should have return type, then function name and parameter list. So we can say this is the entire thing is nothing but declaration of a class. So we make a note that in this syntax we have nowhere defining a class. So we have only function declaration and data members declared. If you look at the next slide, we have taken one specific example. So everybody knows a number called as complex number. Now when we say complex number, basically it's a combination of real part and imaginary part. So what we have done, we have a class with name complex. So class name is complex. So class is this is nothing but the keyword. Then in private section, as I said earlier, we can declare data members inside a private section and we can have function inside a public section. So we have two data members, one is real, other is imaginary. So these are nothing but data members. Now in public section we have one function called as display function, right? Now this display function takes no argument, so its return type is void and it takes nothing. So we can say in this class we have two data members, that is real and imaginary, and we have one function called as display function. Make a note that at the last we have here semicolon. This semicolon is very important while declaring a class. So if we create an object of this class later on, so we will see what is the syntax of object creation, right? So though the size of the what you can say the memory required by that object is nothing but the sum of the individual data members. So in this case, assuming integer as a 4 byte, right? So in this case 4 plus 4 that will be the 8 byte will be the memory of the taken by the object. On the next slide we will see how the object can be created. Now basically objects are the fundamental runtime entities in an object oriented system. Now each object has got some storage, right? So the state of an object is determined by the values that are stored in memory. So objects are variables of a type described by a class. Basically the way we declare variable of a structure, similarly when we declare variable of a class, that is referred as the object. So variable is a terminology that we use in C, and in context with the class we use a terminology called an object. So objects are totally self-contained entities and are responsible for their own behavior. Now if you look at the earlier example, considering integer of 4 bytes, so 4 plus 4, that becomes 8 bytes. So size of the object of the class complex is nothing but the 8 bytes. So on the next slide we have declared one object. So object name is OB1. So the in total memory required will be 8 bytes. Now there are certain steps that need to be taken care, or there are certain steps which are happening when we create object. So whenever the object is created, a memory is allocated for it. A special member function called as constructor, which we are going to discuss in next session, is automatically called, and memory gets initialized. Now the syntax for object creation is something like this. So it should be class name space object name. Object name could be anything. So if I take a class name as a circle, so object name could be, let's say, C1. So I can say C1 is object of a class circle, right? So this is a generalized syntax for declaring a object, and already we have seen a generalized syntax for declaring a class, which is class keyword, then class name, then in a pair of curly brackets we have data members and member functions. Data members could be either private or public, right? Usually data members are always private, whereas functions are always public. Basically member functions are nothing but the interface provided to access data members. So later on we will see, if at all I have to access this real and imaginary, those can be accessed by only functions of that class, right? So that is display. This is how we are hiding data from the external world, and that is the reason we are achieving something called encapsulation. So abstraction means extracting only the essential things of a class, and inheritance encapsulation is nothing but the hiding the details about the class. Okay, these are some basic fundamentals about the class and object. In the next session I will show you an example in which we will be using Turbo C++ compiler and how they are used in C++. Till then, bye bye.